Hello crafters and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa Robbins from Designs by Dee, and today I have another Make the Cards Challenge post for you. So this one is a technique challenge, and what we really want to see is that you use a background stamp. So that's pretty simple, not too hard to do. And I've really been enjoying making non-traditional Christmas cards lately. And what I mean by that is using colors that you don't normally use. So when you think of Christmas, you think of reds, greens, gold, maybe some silver if you want to use the silver instead of the gold, and maybe blue for winter tones and wintry type scenes. But lately I've been trying to use colors that are a little bit different. So today I'm going to be using pastel colors, so a nice pastel green, pink, and blue to create these beautiful, elegant Christmas cards for you. So here is the challenge post. Go ahead and check out the designer's post and get inspired. And let's go ahead and get started on these. So I'm going to be using the Simon Says stamp Poinsettia Background stamp. Now this is a bit of an older stamp. I don't know if it came out last year or the year before, but it's really nice and elegant looking. It has this nice geometrical type star that's just repeated amongst the entire background, and I decided to do some heat embossing with this. So I'm using my air hockey slider thing there to add pressure to my stamp positioner and stamp out this image. And since this background is very intricate, I do recommend using the stamp positioner. I had to stamp this maybe 2 to 3 times to make sure that that image was completely covered with the Versamark ink. And even still, you can see I have a little portion there that didn't quite pick up the ink. And that's okay. You can always cut your panel down to size after you've heat embossed it and sort of cut out the areas that have that missing image. So don't always think it's a lost cause. And if you find that you do have lots of areas, you can just turn the paper over, the cardstock over, and do your stamping on there and try to heat emboss it there again. So I'm just showing you here that I've heat embossed this image on the green and the blue cardstock as well. The green I used liquid platinum, and the blue I used frosted crystal embossing powder from Ranger. And my next step is to cut out a whole bunch of these curvy leaf dies from this Pinkfresh Studio set here. I'm using this shimmer vellum, which is graphic shimmer vellum that I got from Amazon. And I actually do want to show you a really cool feature that Pinkfresh Studios has been doing lately with their dies. There's actually a magnetic sheet in between the packaging there, so the dies just stick to the cardstock. Now, I don't know about you, but I get really frustrated when there's the double-sided tape that's just a little bit too sticky and it actually tears the packaging, because I like keeping that card so that I can store my dies in there and just keep them, like, it's just easier than buying new envelopes. I mean, I have some, but I don't always have a lot for all of my products, so I do like this feature a lot. So thank you, Pinkfresh, for doing that. Now I have all of my pieces cut out, I'm going to go ahead and foil my sentiment. So I'm using the Spellbinders Essential Christmas Greetings plates. This was released this year, and they're really cool because they make a nice focal point on the center of your card, which is ideal for the cards that I'm making today, since I'm going to be just making a wreath around that sentiment. So I'm using for this card the Spellbinders matte gold foil. And I like this one because it's just a little bit more subtle and softer on that pink, and it just fits with the rest of the card. So when I pull off the foil there, you see you get this really nice, beautifully foiled image. I mean, I didn't have any overfoiling with this one. It just worked perfectly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my circle stitched dies, and I'm sure everyone has a set of these that they could use. I'm just matching up the right size, and I'm going to die cut that with my Big Shot. And you can see it creates this nice little circle to put in the center of your wreath. So now that I have my panel cut up, I cut it down to about 4.5 and 5 3/4 because that's pretty much the biggest size I could get out of it that looks like a normal sized card. You could make yours like a normal A2 size card. I've mentioned before, I like making bigger cards. So this was the biggest I could get it. If you wanted, you could have actually made your card square, and this background stamp would have worked perfectly for that. I sometimes have troubles with the background stamps and I want to make them bigger, like maybe you wanted to stamp this on a slimline card. What you could do is stamp it out exactly how I did and then add like a panel of the pink in the center with no embossing on it, or maybe a gold panel in the center, just highlight the center, and that would create your full length slimline card. So there's so many options even with the smaller size background stamp. So I'm actually just placing all these shimmer vellum leaves all around the center. And I'm doing it in such a way that I'm not gluing the entire thing down. I have some of the leaves falling over top of the sentiment. Some of them are being tucked behind it. And this just helps to create a nice wispy leaf with a lot of dimension. Now I got the idea to do this kind of wispy wreath from Yasmin Diaz. She makes a whole bunch of beautiful cards over on her Instagram account, and she actually does some designing for Pinkfresh Studio, which is how I found her. These dies look so beautiful, and I actually purchased them because I saw her use them on her cards, and I was like, oh my god, you can get tons of great elegant looks with this, and I had to go ahead and get them. So as you can see, I'm sticking those gold leaves in between the vellum leaves, and that just creates a bit more interest and ties more of that gold color into the rest of the card. Now I find the main thing you want to do with this is kind of balance out your wreath on your leaves. So you can see I have a bit of the leaf sticking out on the left side, and what I want to do is kind of mimic that on the right side, and that kind of will balance out that wreath a bit. So I'm also, if you notice, I'm cutting up my leaves as well. So I don't keep them like a whole continuous long piece because it's going to be hard to form that circle around the center. Now, as always, I'm going to finish this up with some embellishments, and I'm using my AB crystal and gold lolly beads, which I've mentioned before are nail art gems, which you can get from Amazon. I have this along with all the other products I've used linked in my blog, so go ahead and check that out if you're looking for anything here that you might be interested in. So what I'm trying to do here is use those gold gems on the whiter portions of the wreath so that it kind of stands out. And then I'm using those AB crystal lolly beads along the background and then on the center sentiment circle so that they stand out and kind of pick up the pink color of the card. Now this is the general design for all three cards, so I'm just going to show you that design and how I did it for the pink card, and then basically I just used some different colors and different embossing powders to make the green and the blue card, which I'll also show you at the end. So for the inside of the card, this is like a really simple design. You'll have some of these leaves probably left over from your die cutting, which is what I had. So I just used them on the bottom left-hand corner of the inside of my card to just add a bit of interest and tie in that design from the front of the card to the inside. And then once that was done, I went ahead and pulled out my Altenew Blessings stamp set, which I use for basically all of my Christmas cards. And I'm going to use the more generic main sentiment and stamp that out just by hand using VersaFine Clara Nocturne ink. If you're a little weary of doing this by hand, you can go ahead and use a stamp positioner, especially because I'm using 3 cards. It might be easy to use a stamp positioner, but at this point I think I was a little bit lazy, so I just stamped it by hand. Now for the not the main sentiment, the sub-sentiment, which is Merry Christmas, I've got the Altenew Build-A-Flower Poinsettia stamp set. Now I've mentioned before, I actually cut, there's like a little bit more of this sentiment that's in print. I cut that off and I just use this scripty part because I like it a lot. If I ever did want to use that printed part with it, I could just join them together again. It's not a big deal. Now I'm stamping this one out in Kitsch Flamingo Distress Oxide ink because that matches my pink. It works perfectly. And that's how the final card inside looks like. So I decided it was just a little bit too white, and I have all these little gems on the front. So I kind of have to tie that a bit, kind of have to tie it into the inside of the card as well. So I'm using these Studio Katia gold foil confetti embellishments, and these are nice because they're nice and flat. I don't like using the gems on the inside of the card too much because I find when they are closed and it kind of goes through the mail and stuff, it can make an imprint on your cardstock, which doesn't look too great. So these end up working perfectly with the inside. And once I've attached all of the front panels, this is what it looks like. And just to note, I did attach the panels with foam tape, and I think a couple of them I actually used some craft foam. So that's how that final pink card looks. That beautiful gold shines nicely on the inside and the outside of the card. And as I said, I did make this in green and blue as well. So now I'll show you that green and blue card. I went with lighter colors here. And for the blue card, I used some Sizzix Opulent Silver Mirror cardstock. And for the green card, I used the Sizzix Opulent Matte Silver cardstock. I used Cracked Pistachio for the sentiment there, and for the blue one I used Stormy Sky Distress Oxide ink, just because I felt that they match nicely with these colors. So those are my pastel cards for you. I hope that you've been inspired and that you see something that you like, that you want to try out for yourself. Go ahead and head on over to www.makethecardschallenge.com and also check out the work from the other designers. Get inspired and link up your own projects, and you could be entered to be this week's winner for the week. Now, as I said, all of my products are listed in my blog, so go ahead and check that out if you're looking. And I do have affiliate links there, so I really do appreciate if you happen to purchase something through those links, because I do get a bit of a commission at no extra cost to you at all. And it does help me fuel my blog and continue to make these videos for you. For the people who have looked through my blog and supported me online and everywhere else, thank you so very much. And I hope that you all do take this opportunity to join in the challenge and have a good time crafting. So I hope you all have a great day. Please don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of future videos, and I hope to see you again. For now, I'll leave you with a playlist and another video for you to check out. Have a great day, guys, and I hope to see you again. Bye.